we talked kind of like what you used to do, what you've done now, what you're currently doing.
Yeah.
What do you see ahead? What do you see next?
This is a really fun question. So I noticed that last year I wrote in my journal three main issues with poker vlogs. The commentary is monotonous and boring. The graphics are not that visually appealing. There's no cinematography, photography. It's just boring to look at. And the timing is just off. So bad hands, bad skill. Okay. Overview: skill, production, comedy. I think those are the three elements of a poker vlog that I aim to tick off each box. So I just took a sip of a White Claw and completely forgot your question.
Okay, so I'm asking you where you think you're going in the future. So you were pointing out kind of the things that are wrong, and then how do we beat those challenges?
Okay, so I've been studying a lot of the technical elements of film. That's how I try to increase the production value. But where we're going in the future, that's the interesting part.
Yeah.
So I think I've already made this clear that at the end of the year, I want to have 500,000 and gamble it all on one spin of roulette. Either I walk away with $1 million or nothing at all.
Oh man.
That's the premise. So Jason Somerville, shout out to him. We actually met late last year, and it started to fall into place around February of this year. But he's helped me so much along the way in terms of doing a lot of the back end for me. I would love to work with him to kind of orchestrate this big event. This is still very early in the process, but I would like to, in an ideal world, host an event where 500 people can come watch me actually spin it. So maybe we'll sell tickets for $20 a pop or something. But maybe we can partner or sponsor with a casino to host that event that we can live stream it, make it a spectacle. December 31st, right when the ball drops for New Year's, we spin the thing around and
for $500,000. Jeez.
For $500,000, and we'll see where the ball lands.
That'd be pretty wild. You kind of have this weird balance right now. I watched part of your interview where you were talking about in one of your episodes, you're like, yeah, I've got all this credit card debt and all this stuff.
Yep.
But the momentum is like you're looking way into the future beyond where you're at.
Correct.
So how sustainable is what you're currently doing? And then how easily do you see yourself getting to the next stage? Because the momentum building seems to be so great that you're not going to have to worry about it. But I'm sure right now you're feeling it a little bit. So how do you feel that balance right now? I
don't focus on the day-to-day. I'm always looking. So the way I described it when I was in Las Vegas is, in terms of my finances, it feels like I have a gun pointed directly at my head, and I'm just looking past the barrel. So I'm not even acknowledging that there's a gun here. I'm $13K in debt. Put down the gun, brother. I'll get it. I got you. Just give me 5 months. So I'm betting everything on myself that we're going to turn this into a grand show. I want to produce an entire series like a Netflix show. That's why the titles are the same, because when you go to watch Suits on Netflix, they don't change the title. It's just Suits, season 1, episode 7. So yep. I'm creating a series, and I want to document how I go from 0 to $1 million. In terms of finances, I'm just betting on myself. I believe in myself. I don't want to spoil anything, but I do have a lot of current debt that I can't necessarily pay right now. So we're just going all in. Here's another thing. I think in life, a lot of this isn't just some whimsical decision. I've thought about this for a long time. We're all going to die one day. And so sitting with that, I was like, if I'm either way this plays out, I'm going to end up 6 feet under the dirt. So I might as well play a game that's worth remembering. So my goal is to just live life and create. I want to play the greatest game of life that I can possibly conceive. or conceptualize. And this is the next step for me. It's not my end goal, but this is the next step.
I love it. I've heard some interviews with like people who have really made it and have become really wealthy. And a lot of them talk about this interim period where they're like, I had a job, I was doing okay. I went all in. I was up to my eyeballs in debt and didn't know how I was going to make it. And now here I am, and I'm worth millions and millions.
Yeah.
And Jess, you have a thought? I see you.
Yeah, I think it's my computer fan that's kind of worrying, so you'll have to excuse that. But I mean, kind of what I was thinking, Corey, was, kind of what this is just my perspective, but I see you more as like a storyteller that's playing poker. And, what you've been doing, it's like on my end as a YouTube watcher, watching your content, it's like, it's like I have a good friend, who's really honest and open, so I feel like I know him. And he's on this high-speed chase, that's likely not going to end well. I can't turn away. I can't turn away from the guy. He's my friend, right? So I got to see what happens. And, but also like, this is my hope. That kind of is like on the other side of this is that, even with this year being like, what, whatever we get, we're going to put it on the roulette wheel. Like I remember, I think in December when you had the, you're showing like, hey, my channel's growing, I'm making income here. That, like, maybe you are. I'm wondering if you're more of like a YouTube creator, like you were saying, and kind of like that your YouTube income is what really is gonna be like is really what's gonna support you in the long run. Like the poker, the ins and outs, like you could break even, down a little, up even, but the YouTube channel is really like your identity, like who you are. So what are your thoughts on all that?
I think YouTube is going to play a big part of how we get to 500K at the end of the year. But that's the beauty of building a business.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's pretty wild. I love when I think about it, Jess and I and Tom, like we talk a lot about bankroll management. And
which I'm very well versed in.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, yeah, just so like we're talking about, how many buy-ins do you want to have and how much money is behind and how do you play with confidence so that you can make the right decision at the table. Yeah. And then we watch and all of us watch your channel and we're all just like, come on, then what happens? Then and like it's a side of us that I think like, well, I don't do it. It's really enjoyable to watch you do it because it's like, wow, it's really entertaining and interesting.
I think there's a bunch of rules, and I think we jot all the rules down on a notebook, and then I take the notebook and light it on fire.
Yeah,
throw it to the side. Just get rid of it.